Hello, I'm Dr. Karen Shackleford,
And I'm Dr. Don Grant.
and we're here today to talk to you about our research that's about kids and parents.
For many, many years now, I have been working with kids and young adults and exploring and investigating their behaviors and the impacts of device use. And I think this is something that we all talk about the kids. Oh my gosh, my kids, they're always on their device. So that's notwithstanding. However, about 10 years ago, I started to notice something in the real world, out in the wild, so to speak. I saw parents and on their phones and on their devices, and I saw as their kids appear to be trying to get the attention of the parents, and the parents were just basically ignoring them as they're on their devices, or at the best case scenario, doing this. And then simultaneously, I have a private practice, and I also work with teens and young adults with several organizations, including Newport Healthcare. And the Center for Research and Innovation of Newport Healthcare are actually the people who did our study and supported and sponsored it. But I started hearing the kids telling me stories about their parents' device use. So they would say something like, yeah, maybe I'm bad with my devices, but my parents, Don, they're worse. And I started hearing this and I started talking to colleagues all over the country, and they're all reporting the same phenomenon to me. Do you think that the parents' device use could be problematic? And why I say that is there are already established evidence-based parental or primary caregivers' behaviors that could have some sort of relationship unfavorably with attachment. Things like mental health struggles, addiction, postpartum disorder, marital conflict, financial concerns, a single mom who has five jobs and really is struggling just to try to keep everything afloat. These things have already been established, and certainly the harder and ones like neglect and abuse. These are all behaviors that have been evidence-based that they can have an unfavorable, like I said, impact on attachment. So I started to wonder, could a parent's mismanagement of their device at the expense of their relationship from their child and the bids for attention from them be added as a new phenomenon, as a behavior to this list of parental behaviors that can have a relationship with insecure attachment?
I, like many of our listeners here, have seen families in restaurants, say with the child trying to get the parents' attention and the parents just really being involved with the phone. And we're not here to parent shame anybody. Like you said, we have each, as we're both parents, and we know we have so many distractions, and we all make mistakes, but phones and other devices, they're made to draw us in and to keep our attention. So in some ways, it's harder to turn those off. So we did this study with our colleagues who are named on the paper. And can you tell our listeners just a little bit about the study in layman's terms, and some of the biggest conclusions?
Sure. Well, the title of the paper actually came from a colleague of mine. She is a brilliant clinical psychologist, and she's also a mom. And she's a better mom than clinical psychologist, and she's a brilliant clinical psychologist. And she's very familiar with my work, Karen. And so she came to me several years ago and she said, Don, I think I may need your help. She said, my daughter came to me yesterday and asked me if I love my phone more than her. And I have heard similar stories again from other parents and who have called me and asking for help. So I think that really what we were looking at here was that does an attachment, which I believe is everything, because attachment is obviously there's two types. There's secure attachment, that's what we want, and there's insecure attachment. And there's three types of insecure attachment. There's anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. We really didn't look at disorganized attachment. It's a newer one, relatively speaking. We were looking at anxious and avoidant types of insecure attachment. So we wanted to see if the parent's device use could be have some sort of relationship. However, attachment is completely formed by the child's perception. So I would be doing family work and I would have parents who would say, I feel like I'm a really good parent. I come to every baseball game. I've been at every ballet recital and practice. I'm always there. I don't understand why you're saying I'm not. And the kids would say, "Oh, yeah, you were there. But every time I looked up, you were looking down at your device. I wish you weren't there. It was worse." And I've also heard that from my colleagues. So, because attachment is completely formed by the child's perception. No matter what the parent may believe, we had to get the kids to give us their thoughts about it. So the device attachment interference scale that we created and validated to test out our theory was first, but we had the kids fill it out. And this is also one of the things about our study that's unique. It is, there's other studies, McDaniel's, Coyne, they've looked at things about parental and primary caregiver device behaviors and the possible relationship, with kids. No one has ever looked at attachment. We were the first ones to do it. So that makes it a little unique, but we had to test it because we needed the kids' opinions. So we had the kids do the surveys.